Great. I thought I was out of the bad weather once I hit the south. What's up, Alabama? You're supposed to stop this from following me. You like to travel? Like to explore? Most important, you like to make money? I was born with a traveling something. I had something about traveling going on in my head, probably from the day of birth. Always wanted to travel. Joined the military so I could travel. When I was in high school, I would travel all over the place. Hopped on a 10-speed bicycle, rode down to Mexico, sold my bicycle, and bought a backpack, a new backpack, and hiked the Pacific Crest Trail. Was going up to Alaska from Mexico on up through Canada and stuff like that. And yeah, I've always had the traveling bug. Product placement. Good sweet tea. Yeah, I've always had the traveling bug. Always just did things, spur of the moment. Just took off. Could never stay in one place for very long. Whether it was a home, whether it was in a relationship, whether it was in a career or a job, which I never considered any of my jobs growing up a career, well, until now. And it got me thinking, why not talk about this? A lot of you that watch my channel know what I'm doing. I downsized, I got a 33-foot motorhome, and I'm pretty much in that when I'm not in here, which that is much, much larger than the living space that is inside of a truck. And eventually it's going to be my full-time living space. But at the moment, I have to generate revenue. And why not generate revenue by doing something that I love, like travel? So that's what I wanted to talk about today. I've noticed a lot of younger generation people. I'm looking at my kids specifically and their friends and stuff like that. And people that I meet in truck stops and things that love to travel, can't generate any revenue. They're just walking up and down, hitchhiking on the freeways with backpacks on, and living. I mean, they're doing what they love. They're exploring, and they're really minimalistic. I mean, they may have a couple clothes in their backpack, a pillow or something, and a sleeping bag. But there's more to life than just that. There's a way to travel, right, kitty? Yeah, there's a way to travel, make money, put some money in the bank, and see the country, do the things you want to do without having to sleep on the ground in a sleeping bag underneath a freeway overpass during a snowstorm. And, well, that's truck driving. Now, this career is not for everybody, and I'm just making this video because some of the people out there will watch this and go, you know what? Yeah, I don't want that 9-to-5 job. I don't want to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning, take my shower, eat my breakfast, go to work, then deal with the traffic, come home at 6, 7 o'clock in the evening, enough time to grab another shower, eat dinner, maybe watch a half hour of TV, and then go to sleep, and then wake up a few hours later and do the same thing day after day after day. The only thing you see that's new is maybe another car on the freeway. You really don't get to get out and do anything. You don't get to see anything. You're just living that humdrum life. I mean, there's something to be said for that. I miss that. But maybe you want to get out there and do more. That's how I feel. I want to get out there and do more, see more, and meet different people, eat different foods, go places, pick up wild and crazy animals from their natural habitat and steal them. Right? Helicopter. Okay, so maybe you're thinking about that career might be for me. That's not a bad idea. I'm fresh out of school, or I'm just out of the military, or I'm just fed up with the humdrum 9-to-5 job thing. If you're thinking about anything like that, there are steps to take to get into this type of career, and well, might as well tell you what they are. Step number one. Dang cat. Should have left her in the wild. Should have left you in the wild. Step number one. Well, you pretty much are doing that now by watching YouTube. Check out lots of YouTube videos of people that have been driving for years, people that may just have started driving, the pros, the cons, and see what people are saying, because that's a great way to learn. Now, a lot of drivers are not happy. They're just not happy. They may be married, have girlfriends and stuff like that. They're never home to see them. You may be a female driver and you're not home with your kids enough, and so there's downsides to it because you're not home to spend time with your family. You're out here exploring on the road and making money. This job is extremely hard on relationships. So I would say, number one, check out some YouTubers. I just started doing this. I started looking on YouTube for trucking, truck drivers, truck stops, trucking jobs, trucking as a career. I just Googled and YouTubed those search terms. And it's surprising how many truck drivers out there actually have YouTube channels. And some of them aren't too bad. Some actually give you or suggestions on how to drive in bad weather and how to deal with your company, how to deal with your payroll, and lots of other things. It's something definitely worth checking out as step number one. YouTube. Number two, if you decided, hey, this career's for me, there's ways to get your CDL, your Class A license, to be able to drive a big rig. Number one, search for a company that offers, you know what, if you stick with us for 1 year, you sign a 1-year contract to drive with us, we'll train you to get your driver's license, to get your CDL. There's a few companies out there that still do this. It's kind of fading. Back in the day, 30 years ago, those companies were a dime a dozen. Nowadays, not so much. But there are some over-the-road companies that will train you, get your driver's license, as long as you sign that contract to stay with them for one year, which isn't a bad deal. It's like $5,000 if you take this other way of getting your license, and you save that $5,000. I'll tell you that way in a second. So do some research. Google trucking companies that will train you to get your CDL, and numerous ones will pop up. Definitely an easy way to get into the industry. You're not going to make a lot of money with those companies while you're working that 1 year. You're going to be on the lower end of the pay scale, but don't let that freak you out. It's only 12 months or so, 12 to 24 months, and then your pay is going to start rising and rising, and you're going to make a pretty good living. The second way to get your CDL, if you have cash saved up in the bank and you want to get your CDL and start driving, one thing is, don't get a cat that likes to do this to the camera. Will you stop? School. Truck driver training schools. There's probably one in your local area. They're usually pretty easy to find. You can just Google them, truck driving schools in my area, and they'll pop up. they're a great way to get into it if you have the cash to go to the school. Yeah, and even some of them, you can get those school loans or whatever that you have to pay back. I wouldn't do that, though. I think the best way to get into a career like this, find a company that will do the training and will hire you. And I think that's the best way to go. Now, some of you might be doing this change or career choice to generate a lot of money, to generate a lot of revenue. We're not a high-paying... Truck driving isn't as high-paying as a lot of people make it out to be. You can make a pretty comfortable living. Your paychecks will be pretty good, and especially if you live in a state that has the cost of living is very low. And let's say you live in Alabama or Louisiana or Florida, where I live. Cost of living is pretty low. You'll be making West Coast money. You know how much it costs to live out west. It's quite a bit. But you'll be making that kind of money and bringing it to a low cost of living area. So it's not too bad. You're not going to be a millionaire from this, but you'll be able to take your yearly vacations. You'll be able to go on cruises. You'll be able to buy something, that you thought you might never be able to get. So you want to go to Best Buy and get the new electronic, the new laptop, or whatever you're into, the new cameras. You'll be able to afford that stuff. It's not too bad. But don't go into this career. I mean, me personally, that's what I went into this career for. But over time, over all these years, I realized I've been doing all this traveling, all this work, really nothing to show for it. And then I decided, it clicked. I'm going to check out roadside attractions and cool places and small towns, museums and stuff like that. And I kind of turned it into an exploration type thing, where I get to see the country more instead of just driving through it like I did at the beginning of my career. So you can do both things. You can make a lot of money and see the country, because a lot of the trucking companies out there, you'll see in their little promo ads and stuff like that, see the country, make lots of money, see the country, travel. That's all true. But sometimes they keep you so busy that you really don't get... You see the country as you pass through it, but you don't get to stop and enjoy it. I mean, especially if you're focused on money. But you can focus on seeing the country and still generate enough revenue to do pretty good. It's a balancing act. And it's for me. Definitely. I don't know if it's for you, but it is for me. And I'm not stuck at home constantly, which now I prefer to be home more, because I got this RV and I want to do this RV lifestyle and take the motorhome across the country. But to do that, I have to drive truck and save up money in my bank account so I can do that. And so nowadays I'm falling back into that creating revenue type stuff, but yeah, I'm not gonna lie, I still see and stop and check out the country. So some people get stuck in their jobs, especially if you're younger. Actually, I know some older people even. They're stuck greeting at Walmart, or they're working a cash register at 7-Eleven. And they just feel that they're happy, they're content, greeting people. Welcome to Walmart. Welcome. Where else do they do it? They do it at Best Buy. You walk in, welcome, hello. They do it at the gas stations, at the truck stops. You walk into a truck stop. Good morning, hello. We got the little greeters there. Those people are happy doing that. They get stuck in that groove. They could be doing better. I don't understand why people just stay without trying to improve themselves. And yeah, truck driving, you can improve yourself. You can, if you have one of those jobs and you go, I don't know what I'm going to do next in life. I'm not smart enough to work in a high-rise accounting firm, or I'll never be a lawyer. I'll never work at a university as a professor. What else is there for me? Well, this. You don't have to be a brain surgeon, a rocket scientist, or an accountant, or a lawyer, or a physician to do this. Though there are some out there that quit those high-paying gigs to get out of here and drive truck. I've met a couple doctors. I've met a couple physicians. I think, I may be lying here, but for some reason in my noggin, over the last 30 years, I actually believe I have met a rocket scientist that started driving truck. Actually worked at NASA. For some reason, I don't think I've seen it in a movie or a TV show. I think it actually happened in my life. I think I've met a rocket scientist that drove truck. Anyway, those are my thoughts on if you want to change your career and do something like this. It's not a bad life. It's actually a pretty good life. You meet lots of people, you make decent money, and you get to see the country. Get out of your humdrum life. Just do it. Wasn't that Shia LaBeouf? Just do it. Just do it. All right, guys. That was my content today. It wasn't much of anything else because the cat won't let it be. She just won't let me be. Hint, beware of bringing pets with you on the road. You have to take care of them. And when you want to get out and do something, you have to think, wait a second, I got somebody in my truck that needs me. So you can't just take off all the time. So maybe I'll make that another video. Having pets over the road with you. The good, the bad, the noisy. Until the next time, guys, I love you all. Peace out, everybody.